The Monte and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. It's a great way to move into this. So, Hulk Hogan passed away, really big news in wrestling. I'm going to ask you, what are your thoughts on the negativity on Hulk Hogan and what's being said about him being a child of God and the morality of what's going on in this country in some cases? And go ahead. I'm over speaking.
I want to be careful with this because I've been pretty open publicly for years that I didn't really like him.
Well, can I cut you off there and just ask you why you didn't like him? And this is a non-judgment zone, right? Everybody is, as long as we talk respectfully about human beings, right? To me, your opinion's your opinion.
So I just don't, if you're asking, so here we go.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I'm human. But whenever I had been around him, I just didn't get a good vibe. And then when I start hearing the stories, and when I say stories, I'm not talking about stuff that's on the internet or things that fans know, just like stories between us carnies. It kind of confirmed why I got a bad vibe. So that was kind of just my vibe on it. And then as time went on, more things came out, and then things got public, and then even more examples of why he wasn't really somebody that I'd care to dine with or something like that. But I understand that aside, how instrumental he was to the wrestling business. And I think it's really, really weird that he passed. It weirds me out. And it makes me feel for his family and people who were tight with him. Like I said earlier, my whole thing with vampires, it's because I've been around death my whole life. So I take death very serious. And I look at it in a different way. And so his death has really affected me in this really weird way. And then it's like, take all of me being in the business away from it, right? You're a kid and you grew up watching freaking Hulk Hogan. Somebody, so it's like a mind F of just being a person that has seen this person in pop culture, not just in wrestling. So it's weird. It just is really, really weird. And my heart just really goes out to the people that were tight with him, or at one point were tight with him and his family, because I can't imagine, especially when you have this person that's like a Hulk Hogan, this bigger than life person. And I don't know. It's just, it's weird. It weirds me out. It really does. And then the fact that it's like alongside with like Ozzy passing, it's just like so weird. These iconic people back to back. It's weird. It freaks me out.
Well, this may sound strange, but being the fact that you stated what you are as a Christian believer, oddly enough, both Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne were exactly what you said they were. They were the pillars of their craft as far as their contributions, but they were also Christians that absolutely believed. Ozzy himself was always unfairly labeled. You talked about labels earlier when you mentioned your character in the ECW days. You presented a dark character, but here you are with the Christian heart. Ozzy had that heart. He was being portrayed as the Prince of Darkness, but that's merchandising. That's not the real man or his message, by the way. Hogan I just feel like it might be weirding you out for the same reasons it's probably weirding me out. We're all believers of the Christian faith on this show. I can't say that for my partner, myself. Yours, you've obviously stated that. They felt genuine. I was lucky enough to meet Hogan only one time, and he was very genuine and very, very nice man. And he was nice to everybody in the room. I understand it's only 24 hours, but my vibe on him is he's just like me. He's just like you. We're flawed. We've all got demons in our closet, and yeah, he screwed up. But I hate to see people tap dancing on his cadaver days after he is the Babe Ruth in his contribution to the sport. But I digress. That's my take. Do you think that the tributes that WWE have done for them is, genuine or going through the motions? Are you surprised that they've done tributes for Hulk Hogan with all the outrage on the other side about not being fans of Hogan? What's your take on them doing the tributes for him?
To be honest with you, I haven't seen them.
Okay.
So I can't say that, but I think it would be really weird if they didn't. Hello, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's Hulk Hogan. I don't think. Here's the thing. Unless you live through it, some shape or form, like through the 80s till now, there's generations of people that just don't get. They understand that Hulk Hogan was this like icon or whatever, but they just don't understand. And then for me, being a person that became a wrestler, was a fan of wrestling, became a wrestler. Like, and not only that, but Hogan is one of those people for me that was always somebody that was a good example of how you can be in wrestling, but you can also do things in Hollywood. Because before I was a wrestler, I was already a model actress. My goal was to go to WWF, but I didn't know how at the time. But I was always into modeling and acting. So you got people like Hogan who were in these mainstream pop culture movies and television and all this. And I feel like wrestling's always been holding hands in bed, however you want to say it, with Hollywood. But I feel like Hogan really brought that bridge together, and people just don't know because they weren't around in the 80s to realize that, or they don't remember and it's not fresh enough. I don't know. So there's the person, Terry, and then there's the character Hulk Hogan. And I get why people are always going to use social media now as their outlet for their feelings, whatever. But I feel like go ahead and let people say how they feel. It's not going to take away the imprint he did leave in the business and his legacy within the business. So when people get wrapped up with like the negative stuff that's online, my advice is get offline then. Because yeah, there's a lot of people online, but that's not the entire universe. That's not the entire world. Like it's fine. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that people getting in fights about how they feel about Hulk Hogan passing and their feelings on him, just let them do it and just ignore it if it bothers you or drains you, because people are just going to do it no matter what. I'm sure there's people talking crap about Ozzy somehow or whoever else. It's always going to be a thing. I don't get wrapped up into it because I just choose to like not pay any attention or give my energy to it. So that's why I don't see this stuff that much. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll see it here and there and people be like, oh my gosh, like I had to quit my Twitter because this. And I'm like, I really don't see that stuff because I don't feed that into that energy, you know? Anyways.